Another week, another movie, and another video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Johan Saldana, host of the Save the Popcorn podcast. Today on this channel, I'm going to be talking about Palm Springs. This movie is a Lonely Island classic production led by Andy Samberg, starring Andy Samberg himself, Cristin, Milioti, and J.K. Simmons. It's a run-of-the-mill comedy movie dealing with the trope of time loops, and we've seen a lot of movies that have this infinite time loop concept in their storyline. And this is one of the first movies that I have seen in a comedy genre that deals with time loops. And I know there are a lot of movies that also deal with this similar trope. If you watch the Tom Cruise movie Edge of Tomorrow, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was excited to find out that Lonely Island Classics had produced this movie. I've watched a couple of their productions before. For example, Pop Never Stop Popping. Popstar. And I've also watched the unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience, which is, in their own words, a visual poem. Literally, that's what they call that movie, a visual poem. And I can't recommend it enough. In this movie, Andy Samberg's character, Niles, is stuck in an infinite time loop wherein he can only live one day of his life. And it's the same day over and over again. Every time he sleeps, or every time he dies, or every time he tries to kill himself to get out of the loop, he just wakes up exactly as he woke up that day. And it's gotten to a point where he doesn't know how many years he's been stuck inside this time loop. And the movie begins in a place where Cristin Milioti's character, Sarah, is also stuck in the time loop along with him, and they're trying to navigate their way out of the situation. So the premise for the movie is pretty good. You can immediately see that there's going to be some funny instances happening in this. It's not exactly a laugh out loud every 3 minutes sort of movie, but they've got some very self-aware observations about life in it. What this movie succeeds in doing is making you wonder what you would do if you were in that situation yourself. It makes you ask yourself a question. What if you were stuck in one day for the rest of your life? How would you react? And I think this movie succeeds in asking you that question. It even gets to a point where, without giving you any spoilers, certain characters almost feel trapped. I mean, they are trapped by this time loop, but they are trapped to a point where if they were given a chance to escape from that time loop, they wouldn't even want to do that, because this loop is the only reality that they know now for God knows how many years, and it's scary to them, or it's daunting, the fact of escaping that loop and entering the real world. It really makes you question yourself as to what defines you as a human, your past or your future. Because here you have two characters that are quite different from each other. One who believes that the past defines who you are, and the other who believes that the future and what you will do defines who you are. And they're both unfortunately stuck in the present. So you have this interesting dynamic between the two characters and the storyline, which I really appreciated. It's one of those movies that doesn't have a definite ending. So if you like those type of movies that ask the audience to interpret the ending for themselves, then you're gonna like this. If you don't, then it's just a movie. It has a good timing too. It's just around an hour and a half long. And usually comedy movies of, especially this sort of genre of comedy movies, don't usually need to get longer than an hour and a half. I feel like every time someone makes a movie of this particular genre that is longer than an hour and a half or an hour 45 minutes, it gets to a point where it's exceedingly boring. And this movie stayed within their limits and they kept the runtime very short. All in all, it's the kind of movie that you would watch while sitting down and drinking a cup of coffee. Instead of scrolling through Netflix for hours on end, you could spend that time watching this movie. It's the perfect filler movie. It's good for a lazy weekend that you don't need to spend too much time into it. You don't need to be invested in it, and it doesn't leave you with much of an afterthought. It's in the present, much like the story of the movie itself. That's it for my review of Palm Springs. I'm going to be doing a review of Greyhound, which is a movie starring Tom Hanks. It's a World War II movie, and I love World War II movies. So if you want to watch that video, or you want to be notified when that video comes out, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you want to listen to full episodes of the Save the Popcorn podcast, head on over to the description below, where you will find links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and whatever audio platform you choose to listen to. I'll see you again for the next video.